A couple of years ago, I had made a video on whether you should choose ACCA or MBA. And that's a similar question to asking whether you want to do CA or MBA. Now, since the last time I made this video, things have changed. So I think this time we're going to talk about the current market scenario. And if you are about to take ACCA or MBA in the next year or so, which one would be the right path for you? So before I get started, if this is the first time you're visiting the channel, then please do click subscribe. And if there is any value you find in this video, then give us a thumbs up. All right, guys. First thing is, there are a couple of things to note over here. One is that ACCA has grown much more significantly over the last 2 years when it comes to opportunities and recognition in India. And MBA has always been MBA, right? So there is no two ways about it. Second is, in this video, I'm not going to talk about eligibility because we both know that if you are basically anywhere after 10th or after 12th or in college, you have no option but to take up ACCA if you're choosing at this moment. So I'm going to talk about, let's say you're eligible for both ACCA and MBA, which means you're already a graduate. But if you want to understand details of ACCA, please have a look at the video we made, obviously multiple detailed videos. But for now, let's jump into it. First of all, let's say you're a graduate, right? You know that if you take up ACCA, you will have most likely one level exempted. You have to give 2 levels, which will take you around 1.5 years. You can average out to 2 years. And MBAs, you have for 1 year and 2 years as well. So duration-wise, both are the same. Now, when it comes to, first of all, how do you really choose? Are you already sure whether you want to do MBA, which is a diploma or a degree in the field of business, and MBA in finance is a specialization in finance with strategy, operations, etc. around it? You do want to get into that? Or ACCA, which is like a chartered accounting qualification. It's a professional qualification. There is the ability for you to run your own business. There's an ability for you to work under a business or a brand. There's the ability for you to get into consulting and have multiple clients. And you can start own firm where you land up consulting multiple different individuals or entities or companies with respect to the finance and accounting aspects of the business. The third point is on the cost. So the investment in ACCA is approximately 3.5 lakhs if you have the first level exempted, and that also spread over 2 years, which is not all upfront. And if the first opportunity you secure is as an ACCA member, which means you completed the exams and done experience aspect, you will recover whatever you invested in ACCA almost in the first 3 to 4 months. Plus, in the 2 years you're studying for ACCA, you also get to work, so you earn as you learn. Also, like I said, it's not all at once. So you don't really have to put a lot of pressure on the investment aspect because in a very short span of time, it's all going to be recovered, which is a very healthy sign. Now, let's come to MBA. Here, it's a little different, guys. I'm going to split into 3 MBAs. One is if you want to do MBA from the top tier institutes in India. Second is you want to do MBA from an basically overseas MBA. Or third is you look for all other alternatives of MBA in India, which is not of the top tier because of course, cutoff rate of fees, online MBA, part-time MBA, etc., etc., etc. So from the 3, let's talk about the first one, the major one. If you want to study MBA in India, Zell's recommendation from my heart of hearts is if you do not get an MBA opportunity in the top 20 institutes in India, do not do MBA. First of all, it's completely worth doing it from there. All the effort, all the investment, all the time spent is going to be worth it. They are very well recognized. Their faculties are great. Students are superb. Opportunities in the market are superb. There's a lot of proof that the alumni from these top 20 institutes generally go on and do fantastic things in the world. But this is the first category. So if you have to choose between ACCA and this, I would genuinely recommend you get into the top 20 institutes. But please be very clear on the aspiration. I've had friends who are geniuses when it comes to academics. His goal was to do an IIM, of course, and he landed up, scoring 98.3 or something in CAT, but he didn't get into IIM, so he dropped a year, pursued it again, and then he got into IIM Trichy, right? I mean, it's awesome if you're that committed and dedicated, but if you're going to put in that kind of effort, do it from the top, and you have to know your own strength. Look, if most of us might not be wanting to get into the top 20 institutes that badly, that you put in a year or 2 of your life just studying for it and then cracking it. So as long as you're aware, self-aware about what your strengths are, please go for the top. Second, let's say you go for the 21st and below. I would say don't do MBA in India. They genuinely don't have that much worth. It's a little more what you get in the market than a BCom. They lock you in for a year or two. And if it's a part-time or an online MBA, it's not even that well recognized. You can get that knowledge bit or the networking bit by yourself. You don't need to really do an MBA. So my personal recommendation is in that case, don't do that. Lastly, if you want to go overseas, again, I would say look for the top. Okay, then investing in that amount is going to be worth it. Otherwise, I've seen people spend 50 lakhs, 1 CR in 1 or 2 years. They go to UK, go to US. Of course, they have a good time to learn something. But they come back and there isn't much to do from them if it's not the top institutes. So all in all, whether it's India or overseas, if it's the top tier institutes, go ahead. If it's not, please skip it. Now, so coming to the fee investment, now if you do from the top 20 institutes in India, it can cost anywhere between 15 to 25 lakhs, depending on which institute you go to. And that actually is worth it, again, right? But it's almost 8 to 10 times more than that of ACCA. I'm not going to talk about 21st and below institutes in India at all. That being said, also look for opportunities. In ACCA, like I said, right, we know how the market works. Start early on in life, right? You can be 22, 23 and you can start your career, build your life in the corporate world, in a brand, with your own startup maybe. That's what it worked out for me. And you can always remain nimble, remain agile because the course is like that. You are always having to update yourself. You have an unlimited market if you want to reach out to clients. When you do an MBA, then there is a disproportionate amount of opportunities that come to people who do the top 20 MBAs. So if you're over there, again, your life is more or less going to be hopefully set, professional, corporate life, or your own company. And lastly, guys, comes the combination. Now, I've not seen many people have this combo, but that does not mean you shouldn't aim at it. People do ACCA and simultaneously, or just after that, they finish MBA. Actually, they can do it vice versa also. But that you should only do if you realize that by pursuing the second degree or qualification, right? So if you do ACCA first, start working, and only if you realize that to get to the next level, some MBA is going to help you, please do the MBA and vice versa. But otherwise, don't just collect degrees and hope that an opportunity will come. That does not really happen. So with that, guys, I hope that this gives you some indicator on what you should do, how you should make a decision. If you're not sure, I would say just go for ACCA because it's quicker. It's not too expensive. You can find your way in terms of value almost no matter who you are. It's not a competitive exam like an MBA where only the top people get into the top. Here, all of us are at an equal stage. As long as we pass it, it doesn't matter if you pass or you fail. If I pass, I'm going to have a career. In MBA, if both of us are working towards it and you fail and I pass, I'm going to get ahead of you. But that's not the way it works in professional qualification. So if you're not sure, my suggestion is stick to the safer route, right? Study this in 1.5, 2 years. Only invest 3.5 lakhs which you recover. Find your way, and then if required, do an MBA. Because if you do it the other way around and you invest energy and time, you don't get in the top 20, you would have most likely wasted a couple of years, which I'm not too big a fan of. If there's anything that I've missed in this video, please leave it in the comments.